The Blocktalk podcast started because of my passion for the property management industry. I wanted to start a conversation and add some value within the industry with a diverse range of people and professionals who can add something extra. As we start out, my aim is that the podcast offers some useful insight into a variety of views, opinions, thoughts, and foresights from our guests, who include business leaders and industry experts. If you enjoy the podcast and want to find out any other information, head on over to brianwelsh.co.uk. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Blocktalk podcast. Today we're doing a special one actually. So today we've got me, Brian Welsh, we've got Jaxx, who's normally on, but we have Will, our technical director, CPL's technical director, and Crawford Burns, CPL's professional services director as well. So this is a podcast we do kind of once every quarter where we talk about the business and what's going on and what's coming up in the next quarter. So we'll crack on. So the first thing to talk about today is team news and welcomes and promotions and these sort of things within CPL. And Crawford mentioned just before we came on here, we've actually had 7 new starts in the business within the last, what is it, Crawford, 6 months?
Well, I reckon in 2022, so that's just coming up 8 months.
Okay, so in the last quarter, 4 months, we've got new people in development, we've got new people in support, and but first of all, in fact, the guys, Will and Crawford, can talk about that, but I've got a new assistant, Lauren, who started about 2.5 weeks ago. So she arranges my diary, looks after my actions, makes sure that I'm doing everything I need to be doing, and is hopefully going to take a huge amount of time off me to allow me to spend time on the stuff I should be spending time on, visiting clients with Crawford and looking at where our business is going over the next 3 months, and speaking to Will about technical challenges and where we want to go technically over the next 3 to 5 years as well. So yeah, that's really exciting for me. And so Crawford, we have some new starts in support as well. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So in the last 4 months, we've started 2 new people in support. Charlotte has joined us from. She actually has a background in finance, so she joined us from one of the HBOS companies, I think it was, or RBS companies, I think it was. She's settled in really, really well to her first line support role inside the team. And one of the pieces of feedback that we've had really about Charlotte, it's been great. I mean, I'm kind of smiling about it because it's the number of people have said that it's been so nice for them in terms of their support experience to actually get somebody back on the phones again that really want to engage with us. One of the things I think we suffered for, and I know we don't like going back and referencing COVID, but one of the things that we kind of suffered from a wee bit, I think, was the fact that during COVID, when we were all home based, then very, very much we ended up with support responding to our clients an awful lot in terms of that being done through email communications rather than us picking up the phones to people. Whereas the one thing that Charlotte does to every single client is literally to engage in conversations, and she's talking to people and building relationships with them on a day-to-day basis. And she's a breath of fresh air. She's really great. Angie had joined us literally on the 4th of July, which is it's not even 8 weeks into her tenure with us. And her first couple of weeks was actually spent based in South Africa. So she is South African, but she was moving to the UK. Her and her partner were coming over to the UK to live. So she spent her first couple of weeks working out of South Africa, but she's now based just about 15 minutes away from the office down in Southampton. She came from a really interesting background. It was an Oracle-based application where they provided support and services to the hospitality industry, and she'd been with that company for just about 12 years or so. Really, really interesting role and quite diverse because she was doing things like product manager, but she was also doing account management and second and third line support. So we've brought Angie in to do a bit of a kind of hybrid between first and second line support stuff. again, a bit like Charlotte, she's really, really happy to engage with clients, pick up telephones, talk to people, which I just think is a complete shift for us in the right direction in terms of support. One of the things that's been really quite interesting with regards to Angie is just the fact that in terms of the second line support stuff, so the queries around the database and things like that, which historically have all literally gone to Brian Herbert over the last 5 or 6 years. Angie's actually picking up that kind of stuff really quickly. So we're starting to see a turnaround in terms of tickets improving dramatically, and that engagement with clients really getting so much better and back to where we really want to be.
Excellent. That's good. Yeah, no, that is good news. And I think we've seen an upturn in all the SLAs on tickets, or us hitting SLAs on our tickets as well.
Yeah, that has noticeably changed, Brian. We do actually have a support meeting once a month where we sit down and we look at things that we can kind of improve. And our next support meeting is on Thursday of this week. Right. At the moment, it looks as if we'll not be far short of hitting about 90% in terms of our SLAs, which is great. I think it's a real improvement on where we were at, and hopefully our clients see that, and hopefully most of them begin to enjoy coming back and engaging with support again. Yeah,
certainly the ones I've been speaking to recently have seen an improvement, and I've been had really positive things to say. So. Good. Okay, and we've got some additions to the development team as well. Will, do you want to talk about them?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've brought on 2 new developers, Ryan and Taylor. They both joined on the same day at the beginning of August, so they've been with us for about a month now. They've both settled in really well. Like I said, they've been here a month and they're already producing really good code, and I can definitely see them going forward and bringing some really good ideas to the table to help revolutionise the product and bring it forward. We've got a lot of things we've already discussed as a team, and we've identified a lot of items or features in the code that we want to change and improve. And I think that once we get to that and users end up getting the bills in, they're going to really see that kind of impact come through and see that in the product and see it in their day-to-day usage of it. So yeah, really impressed with them so far. They're both sort of fairly early on in their career. So Taylor's he's actually gone down the route of his self-learning. So he's done some online certifications, online courses, lots of workshops and things like that, and then he's come to us and he's already shown that he's able to pick up stuff really quickly. Definitely got a keen eye for development. And Ryan, he's a graduate on a gaming degree. He's come from a placement that he was doing during his course as well. So he's had some industry experience and he's brought that along to us, and it shows that he's able to hit the ground running. So both of them are doing really well, and should mean that our users end up seeing a lot more changes in the code coming through a lot quicker than they used to before.
Excellent. And they bring down the average age of the staff quite dramatically, don't they?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it does make you feel old when people were born this century now in your team. But I guess that's just something that we're going to have to get used to.
Yes, most definitely. Okay, so and the other thing to talk about, so another subject, is new releases and these sort of things. So we've had a change to our release structure, Will. So do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So with the, the additions to the team and the fact that our development team is growing, we're also changing our development strategy. We used to do our builds on a quarterly to 6 monthly basis, and they'd usually come with an awful lot of changes, and a lot of the time that was a big update for us and also for all of our users. So we're moving to a continuous development methodology, which will allow us to basically mean that we can release our product a lot more frequently with smaller iterations of changes. So our releases, rather than having one big release with a load of things in it now, we're going to have smaller releases with maybe one or two new features and potentially a few sort of changes in other areas, tweaks and fixes, and maybe quality of life changes, things like that. What that means is we're going to be able to react to the changes our clients require, our users require, a lot quicker. And that's going to mean that in the future, and in quite the near future, we hope, we're going to see sort of releases rolling out almost by at least once a month, but maybe even more frequently than that, maybe every 2 to 3 weeks as well. And we're going to be also looking to streamline how we deploy our software as well. Because at the moment, there's quite a manual process that requires us to organise a time slot with our users, and we're aiming in the future for that to also no longer be a requirement as well, and just make it a lot smoother for everybody without less risk as well. So yeah, it's all exciting. We're sort of working through it at the moment. We're all getting used to the changes, but so far everybody's finding it's working a lot better. And then it's not going to be too long before our users start seeing that benefit as well. And then,
well, one of the things I've noticed with the new guys coming on board is the fact that we can respond to client change requests a lot quicker. You know, so people are putting in, you know, suggestions, ideas, thoughts about, or looking for changes to reports and stuff. We are managing to get those turned around an awful lot quicker now that we've got the extra couple of lads on board doing the dev stuff.
Yeah, exactly, and that's a combination of obviously having more developers to help get through those requests, but that coupled with the fact that we're not having big releases, because it felt a bit bad on us when we were asked for a really good change request that we thought was a great idea, but given our roadmap, we wouldn't be able to deliver that for 6 to 8 months in the future, which kind of felt like that was a long time to wait for something that we thought was a really good idea. So that means that now, we can get it out to our users a lot quicker, and they can start feeling the benefit that much sooner. Absolutely.
Cool.
And
8 months seems a lot. 8 months does seem a lot longer when you get older, I must admit. So.
That's right.
8 months is a long time. Right. Okay, so that's kind of our current product set. Do you want to talk about CPL3 as well? We'll just talk about where we are with that.
The other thing that's meant we've kind of been able to allocate some development to our new web-based product, which we're calling CPL3 at the moment, which I think will probably stick, but we never know. We might find a nicer name for it. But we've got our those who've used CPL will know it's a Windows product that runs on the desktop. Obviously, there are apps and web portals around that, but the core product is on the desktop. So we're looking to migrate that to a fully web-based version, which is going to come with a whole load of benefits that come along with a web-based version. The main one being that you can access it from anywhere, and you don't require your Windows machine to run your desktop application. So we're currently working on that. It's a big project we're undertaking, so there's a lot of planning that's going to be involved in it. CPL is not a small product by any means. It covers a lot of features, and it has a lot of scope within that. So we are currently building a framework that will allow our current clients, as well as anybody who wants to go fully cloud-based, to be able to use our new web-based product. And so we're working in the background to get that all ready. But what essentially it will mean is, if you're a current client who's got your server hosted in your own office and you're running CPL on the desktop, when we release CPL3 with its new features, you'll be able to integrate them both together. And at the moment, we've been really working on that framework to make sure that is as seamless as possible, which is so far going really well, actually. We've been really happy with the results and what we've got there. And we're going to be adding some brand new features to that platform, which will be completely new to CPL. And then in the future, you're going to see some features migrate from CPL 2, the desktop version, over to the web version, so that's available there as well. So yeah, lots coming along. Lots to keep us busy, but so far it's going really well, and we're really excited to be working on it. Really, we're just looking forward to the date next year when we're able to sort of showcase it and let everybody see what we've been working on.
Okay, good, sounds good. So next on the agenda is Blockworx. So Crawford, do you want to give us an update on where we are with Blockworx?
Yeah, excuse me. The next release for Blockworx, we should have out certainly in time for the upcoming PMAS conference, if not before that. So maybe towards the end of September, or certainly the early part of October. The big thing, and the thing that I've been looking forward to for quite, and I get excited about these things. It's maybe an age thing, given where I'm at in life. But the next version of Blockworx will actually have something which is called OCR, which essentially is optical character recognition. What that means in layman's terms is that for contractors, it will allow them to upload PDFs of their invoices directly into Blockworx, and the software will essentially read the development and the value and the date, so it will automatically upload for them. It's a massive time saver from a contractor's perspective. So, it's feedback that we'd had around Blockworx was that a lot of the functionality that we have built into the application, it's all very modern, it's all very app-based, it's all very web-based, as well said. It's in terms of CPL, it's where CPL is kind of heading towards. The technology that particular development team uses is obviously very, very web-orientated, but one of the things that the contractors had fed back would be if there was a way of being able to streamline the process of them uploading their invoices. So this is coming, and yeah, we should have that hopefully within the next 4 or 5 weeks. So it'll be great to see that out, because I think it'll be a massive time saver. If you're a small contractor and you're only uploading 1 or 2 invoices in one go, then the OCR software can read 1 or 2 invoices at a time. Or if you're a larger contractor that are maybe uploading 25, 50 or 100 invoices in one go, then the new version of Blockworx with the OCR stuff will allow you to be able to send batches of PDF invoices up and upload those in one go. So I think it's exciting times for Blockworx, I think.
Good, excellent. No, it's a great product set. It's a great product set. Okay, so the next thing you mentioned already, so the Property Managers Association Scotland Conference is at the end of October.
End of October, 28th of October, I believe, yeah. And
we're sponsoring, as we always do. We always like to support the PMAS as much as we can. So who wants to talk about PMAS?
I mean, I think it's one of those. It's the first time the PMAS will have got together in terms of a conference, and first time in 3 years. So from from CPL and a personal perspective, I always think a conference is a great thing because it gives you an opportunity for us to see pretty much every single one of our clients, all at the one time. To get updates from them. Nice opportunity to put some faces to new names that maybe people that have joined businesses for in the interim period. We're bringing Will's obviously coming up for the conference. We're going to bring Charlotte up for the conference. So I just think it's a real nice opportunity for us to all feel as if we're all part of the sector. And I think there's some really good speakers this year as well.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm looking forward to listening to James Grove. Actually, he's doing an energy piece, which is very topical at the moment. Jax, do you have anything to add to that for PMAS?
I don't think so. Just getting organised in the background, all the sort of usual conferencey events type stuff, banners and giveaways, and what we're actually going to do to make people want to come and spend some time talking to us, apart from the lovely people that will obviously be there.
Need lots of chocolate then, right?
Yes.
Good. And Will, you're coming up for it, which is good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because, like Crawford said, it's been 3 years, I guess. So it's been a long time. And we did have the PMS dinner but it's a slightly different crowd that go to each.
So different people go. Yeah.
And,
Did you have a beard? 3 years ago when the last conference was on?
No, I don't think I did. Maybe I might have just started to try and grow it. I'm not sure, but yeah, it would have been around then.
I'm definitely grey. I'm definitely greyer and have less hair than last time. Anyway, that's for sure. So, okay. So cool, and that's good. I'm looking forward to that. I'd say it should be good fun to see all the clients and new people as well. You know, there's a lot of people come into the industry in the last 3 years, I'm sure. So it'll be good to meet people and to chat to old friends as well. Okay, so the last thing, I think it's the last thing anyway, is to talk about the Blocktalk podcast. So we've been on for a year now. The podcast has been really great fun, and we've had some phenomenal speakers on and people guests on to chat to. It really has been great. Recent ones were Joe Talon from Blink. So Blink is a company that we integrate with and partner with for providing credit card payments and things like that. So and Joe's great. I mean, our clients are a good size for him, not his biggest clients, but a good size for him. And he always, in anyone we've introduced to him so far, he's managed to get them savings. So, you know, I mean, that's great. You know, everything's going up in price at the moment. So if we can save some of our clients some money on their credit card fees, then that's brilliant. So we had a really good chat with Joe, especially right at the end of how annoying it is when people stop in the street with their mobile phones in their hands and things like that. We did have a really good chat with him about that. It was good fun. And then we did the first of our kind of group roundtable podcast, and the subject was electric vehicles. So we had Derek McDonald on from Newton Property Management. Derek's a great advocate of solar and electric cars, and in fact he has a very nice electric car now, which I aspire to have one day in my life, but I'm not sure I can afford it. And we had Alan Draper from EV Solutions on as well, and it was really interesting because we talked about the differences between, you know, to get an electric charging point into a car park from a block of flats in Scotland. Derek didn't actually think it was going to be he thought legislation could help with that, but in England with leasehold legislation, Alan was thinking that it was a very, very difficult thing to do. And in fact he told a story about someone who lived in a block of flats, but they had their own entrance and they had their own driveway, and I don't know exactly how it worked, but they'd installed an EV charging point at their front door so they could charge their vehicle in the drive. And they came to sell the house or the property, and the solicitor told them that the leaseholder, that the lease did not allow them to have that installed, so they needed to get rid of it. So they actually had to take it out to sell their house, you know. So with the amount of electric vehicles on the road nowadays, it's just, the infrastructure. We talked about infrastructure and things like that. So go have a listen to it. It was actually really, really interesting. An interesting chat. We did actually become petrol heads for about 10 minutes and just talk about cars, so you can skip past that bit if you want. And the next, so what's coming up soon? So coming up in the next month or so, because we started doing it weekly, and we now do 2 a month, so we're doing it every 2 weeks now. And coming up and it's a year now actually since we started that podcast. And Nigel Glenn, who was the CEO of ARMA at the time and is now the exec chairman of the Property Institute after the merge of IRPM and ARMA. He was one of our first guests. So what we're doing, we're gonna re-interview him to see how the world's moved in the last 12 months with the Property Institute merger, well, those two organisations merging to become the Property Institute, but also cladding and these sort of things, and have that chat with him. So that, I'm really looking forward to that one. But in the next kind of 4 weeks, we've got a roundtable about cladding. This one's I'm really looking forward to. So we've got David Reed, who's the CEO of James Gibb, and has been very involved with various organisations around cladding and very vocal about it as well. We've got Hardeep Devsey from the Scottish Government coming on as well. And we've also got Chris Ashurst, who we've interviewed before as well, from the High Rise Scotland Action Group. So that should be really, really interesting. I'm thoroughly looking forward to that. And I've really enjoyed the last year as well. Highlights have been things people will ban. Was that the question, wasn't it?
If you ruled the world for a day, what would you do?
Yeah, what would you do? Yeah, someone would ban felt tip pens because there was no need for them in life, and and there were various. There was another. Who did someone want to get rid of a song by the Killers or something like that?
Oh yeah, I can't remember.
So that we've had some really weird and wonderful answers to the questions, which has been really, really good fun. But yeah, so that's Blocktalk podcast, which we'll continue doing. Jaxx and I really enjoy doing them, and yeah, after a year, there's various people who have suggested that we do it in video. So I always maintain I have a face for radio, but we'll see how they go. Okay, does anyone have anything to add before we finish? So we should have done good news actually. I used to do we had a growth coach in one of my businesses for a couple of years, a guy called Don Monkhouse, and every time we start a meeting, we had to start it with good news. We should really do that at the beginning of the podcast from now on, especially this one. So we'll do that the next quarter when we start it. But let's go anti-clockwise. Well, on my screen anyway. Jaxx, anything to add or anything to finish with?
Just on the Blocktalk podcast, if anyone hasn't yet listened to anything or wants to, it's available on iTunes platforms, Google Podcasts and Spotify. We also upload onto the CPL Software YouTube channel. And if you don't have time to listen to the full podcast, we've now started doing bite-size podcasts, so it's little 8 minutes because of 8 kilobytes. So we've shortened it down to a little 8-minute bite-size section of the podcast to give people a taster of what they can hear, to maybe take out the most kind of maybe interesting parts of it. So you can catch that as well. So every second week there's a full new podcast, and every other week there's a bite-sized version of that podcast the week before.
Good, thank you for that. And just a bit of self-promotion, you can always get them on my website as well, which is www.brianwelsh.co.uk. Crawford, anything from you to end?
No, I guess the only thing I would say is just to make sure that any feedback that people have around customer service since we've made the changes, or any feedback that people have got around the support and our process around support, or suggestions for improvements around either CPL or Blockworx or Inspect, just make sure either they talk to the guys or drop me an email. We always want to hear feedback, good or bad, so that we can improve it on the processes that we've got in place at the moment. So, yeah.
Good, excellent. And Will, for you to end?
The only thing I can think to sort of add on that we haven't covered already, so we mentioned about CPL and Blockworx, but also we're still working away on Inspect as well. We have a new version of that coming out in the next sort of 4 weeks, I should think. We're finalising testing at the minute, getting ready to release that. So yeah, users can keep an eye out for that update as well.
Okay, good, excellent. Okay. So thanks very much for listening, everybody, and we will sign off.